What if I told you that the story of the serpent in the Garden of Eden might not be what you think? For centuries, we've been told that the serpent was the villain, the deceiver who led humanity astray. But what if there was another side to the story, one that was erased from history? Today, we'll explore ancient texts, hidden scriptures, and alternative perspectives that paint the serpent in a very different light. Could the serpent have been humanity's liberator rather than its downfall? Stay tuned as we uncover the forbidden truths. The most well-known version of the story comes from the book of Genesis. In this account, the serpent tempts Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, leading to the fall of mankind. The serpent is commonly associated with Satan, symbolizing deception, sin, and punishment. This version of the story is deeply ingrained in Christian teachings and has shaped the way we view good and evil. However, not all religious traditions interpret the serpent this way. Some scholars argue that the association between the serpent and Satan is a later Christian addition rather than something explicitly stated in the original Hebrew texts. In the Garden of Eden, the serpent is described as crafty or wise, but not necessarily evil. Could it be that this ancient being was offering knowledge rather than deception? And if so, why was this version of events hidden from mainstream religious teachings? In Gnostic texts, such as the Nag Hammadi scriptures, the serpent is seen in a very different light. These ancient writings suggest that the creator of the world, often referred to as the demiurge, was a lesser deity who kept humanity trapped in ignorance. According to the Gnostics, the serpent was actually a messenger of enlightenment, encouraging Adam and Eve to seek knowledge and break free from divine oppression. This interpretation drastically alters the way we view the story. Instead of being a deceiver, the serpent becomes a figure similar to Prometheus in Greek mythology, someone who defies authority to bring light to humanity. The act of eating from the tree of knowledge is seen not as a sin, but as an awakening, a step toward understanding the true nature of existence. But if this perspective reveals a hidden truth, why was it banned from the Bible? The serpent as a symbol of wisdom and transformation isn't unique to the Bible. Many ancient cultures revered serpents as divine beings associated with knowledge, healing, and immortality. In ancient Egypt, the serpent deity Wadjet was a protector and guide. In Hinduism, the serpent god Shisha supports the universe, while Kundalini energy is often depicted as a coiled serpent representing spiritual awakening. Even in Mesoamerican cultures, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, was seen as a bringer of civilization and wisdom. Could it be that the demonization of the serpent in Christianity was an intentional move to suppress older spiritual traditions? If the serpent has been seen as a symbol of wisdom for thousands of years, perhaps the biblical interpretation isn't as straightforward as it seems. The Bible, as we know it today, was not compiled overnight. Many ancient texts were excluded from the official canon, and some of them provide a radically different view of biblical events. The Book of Enoch, for example, introduces the idea of fallen angels who shared forbidden knowledge with humanity. Some interpretations suggest that the serpent's role in Eden was similar, that it was attempting to elevate humanity rather than corrupt it. In other banned texts, like the Gospel of Judas, figures traditionally seen as villains are given more complex roles. If Judas, often considered the ultimate betrayer, was actually following divine instructions, could the serpent have also been misunderstood? What secrets were hidden when these alternative narratives were left out of the Bible? Now, let's consider the possibility that the serpent wasn't lying. The Bible itself states that after Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, they gained wisdom. God even says, "Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil." This suggests that the serpent told the truth. Eating the fruit did not lead to immediate death, but instead to enlightenment. So why was this knowledge forbidden in the first place? Was it truly about obedience, or was it about keeping humanity in a state of ignorance? If we reinterpret the serpent's role, it challenges fundamental ideas about authority, free will, and the nature of good and evil. Could it be that this ancient being was actually trying to free humanity rather than condemn it? Most people focus on the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden, but there was another tree, the tree of life. This tree granted immortality, and after Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, God placed cherubim and a flaming sword to guard it. But why? If knowledge was already gained, why was access to the tree of life suddenly restricted? Some scholars suggest that had Adam and Eve eaten from this second tree, they would have become truly divine. Could it be that the serpent's temptation was only the first step in a greater plan for human ascension, one that was stopped before it could be completed? The image of a serpent eating its own tail, known as the Ouroboros, is an ancient symbol of eternity, rebirth, and the cycle of existence. Found in Egyptian, Greek, and even Norse mythology, this symbol represents the never-ending nature of time and knowledge. What's fascinating is that in some mystical traditions, the Ouroboros is connected to the serpent in Eden. Rather than being a deceiver, the serpent may have been a guardian of sacred wisdom, one that humanity was meant to rediscover in cycles throughout history. Fast forward to the final book of the Bible, Revelation, and we see the serpent reappear as the great dragon cast down from heaven. This connection between the serpent, the devil, and the fall of Satan is one of the strongest arguments for the traditional interpretation. However, some interpretations suggest that this fall may represent the loss of higher knowledge. Could Revelation's depiction of the serpent be symbolic of suppressed wisdom rather than an evil force? Eve is often portrayed as the one who doomed humanity, but what if she was actually the first revolutionary? Some feminist theological perspectives suggest that Eve's decision to eat the fruit was an act of liberation, not disobedience. The serpent, in this interpretation, becomes a symbol of empowerment, urging Eve to take control of her own destiny rather than blindly obey authority. This perspective changes the entire meaning of the fall, turning it into an awakening rather than a punishment. In pre-biblical cultures, serpents were often linked to female deities associated with wisdom, fertility, and healing. The Canaanite goddess Asherah, often worshipped alongside early Hebrew beliefs, was sometimes depicted with a serpent. Some scholars believe that the serpent in Eden may have been a remnant of these older goddess traditions, later demonized to erase the influence of female spiritual figures. Could the Garden of Eden story be a rewritten version of an ancient myth that once honored the serpent? In Hindu spirituality, the concept of Kundalini energy describes a serpent-like force coiled at the base of the spine, waiting to be awakened through spiritual enlightenment. When activated, this energy rises through the chakras, bringing profound wisdom. Could the biblical serpent symbolize an internal awakening, rather than external temptation? If so, then the fall of man wasn't about sin, it was about unlocking the power within. Surprisingly, many ancient religions saw the serpent as a positive force. In Greek mythology, Asclepius, the god of healing, carried a staff with a serpent, which is still used today in medical symbols. Even early Jewish traditions were divided. In Numbers 21:9, Moses himself lifts a bronze serpent on a pole to heal the Israelites. This raises an important question: why would something associated with evil be used for divine healing? The Bible never actually says the forbidden fruit was an apple. Some theories suggest it could have been a fig, a pomegranate, or even psychedelic mushrooms. If the fruit represented knowledge, could it have been a metaphor for a mind-expanding experience, one that allowed Adam and Eve to see reality in a new way? This would align with many ancient shamanic traditions where plant-based wisdom was considered sacred. The Book of Enoch, a banned text, speaks of angelic beings called the Watchers who descended to earth and shared forbidden knowledge with humans. Some believe that the serpent in Eden could have been one of these beings, acting as a teacher rather than a trickster. If so, then the knowledge given to Adam and Eve was part of a larger divine plan, one that was later suppressed. This might sound shocking, but some interpretations suggest that Jesus and the serpent share similar roles. Both bring knowledge, challenge the religious elite, and suffer consequences for their actions. In John 3 verse 14, Jesus even compares himself to the bronze serpent Moses lifted in the wilderness. Could this hint at a hidden connection between Christ and the wisdom the serpent represented? The Gospel of Philip, another banned text, suggests that ignorance, not sin, is humanity's greatest downfall. This aligns with the idea that the serpent in Eden was trying to lift humanity out of spiritual darkness. If early Christian sects saw the serpent as a guide rather than an enemy, why was this perspective erased? In Egypt, the cobra was a royal symbol of divine protection and wisdom. The pharaohs wore it on their crowns as a sign of enlightenment. Could the biblical authors have taken this powerful symbol and inverted it to fit a new theological agenda? In many mythologies, the trickster is not evil but a force that challenges the status quo. Figures like Loki, Coyote, and Anansi the spider often act in ways that disrupt order but ultimately bring necessary change. Could the serpent in Eden be part of this tradition, forcing humanity out of ignorance to find its true potential? Many Native American traditions honor the serpent as a sacred being connected to the earth and cosmic wisdom. The Hopi speak of a great snake that carries knowledge across the ages. If so many cultures viewed the serpent as wise rather than wicked, why was this perspective lost in mainstream Christianity? Re-examining the serpent's role in Eden challenges fundamental beliefs about knowledge, power, and divine authority. If the serpent was a bringer of enlightenment, then humanity's fall was actually humanity's first step toward self-awareness. Perhaps the true lesson of Eden isn't about punishment, it's about the eternal struggle between blind obedience and the pursuit of truth. Many scholars believe that the serpent's portrayal in Genesis was influenced by the suppression of the divine feminine. Ancient cultures worshipped goddesses associated with wisdom and transformation, often depicted with serpents. Eve's role in the fall narrative mirrors myths where women are the bearers of divine knowledge. Could the demonization of the serpent be part of a broader attempt to erase feminine spiritual power? Most people assume the talking serpent in Genesis is unique, but other biblical creatures also speak. In Numbers 22, Balaam's donkey talks after seeing an angel. This raises a question: if a talking animal was a divine messenger in one case, why was the serpent seen as evil in another? Was it the message, not the messenger, that was rejected? Some believe that the tree of knowledge represents the moment humans became self-aware. Before eating the fruit, Adam and Eve lived in a state of innocence, similar to animals. Afterward, they understood good and evil, choice, and consequence. Could the serpent have been an agent of human evolution, guiding us from instinct to intellect? In alchemy, the serpent represents transformation, death, and rebirth. The shedding of its skin symbolizes the cycle of renewal. If we apply this idea to the Eden story, the serpent may have been offering Adam and Eve a chance to evolve into something greater. But instead of embracing transformation, they were punished for it. The idea of forbidden knowledge isn't exclusive to Christianity. In Greek mythology, Prometheus was punished for giving fire, another symbol of knowledge, to humanity. Why do so many myths warn against enlightenment? Could it be that those in power feared an awakened population? In Buddhist tradition, the Naga, a serpent deity, is a protector of sacred knowledge. When the Buddha meditated under the Bodhi tree, a serpent shielded him from storms. This is a stark contrast to the biblical serpent, reinforcing the idea that different cultures saw serpents as guides rather than deceivers. Archaeological evidence suggests that some early Israelites may have worshipped a serpent deity. A bronze serpent, known as Nehushtan, was revered in early Jewish tradition before being destroyed by King Hezekiah. Could the negative portrayal of the serpent in Genesis be part of a religious shift that sought to erase older beliefs? In many spiritual traditions, serpents are neither purely good nor evil, they embody duality. The same energy that can enlighten can also destroy. Perhaps the story of the serpent in Eden wasn't about morality, but about choice, how we use knowledge once we receive it. In secret societies like Freemasonry, the serpent represents hidden wisdom and enlightenment. The concept of hidden knowledge aligns with the idea that the serpent in Eden was offering divine truth, not deception. Could the biblical interpretation of the serpent have been intentionally altered to keep certain knowledge restricted? Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, believed that the serpent symbolized the unconscious mind, our deepest fears and desires. Facing the serpent, therefore, represents confronting the hidden truths within ourselves. If the Eden story is viewed through this lens, the fall could be humanity's first step toward self-discovery rather than a punishment. Some researchers have noted that the double helix structure of DNA resembles two intertwined serpents. In many ancient myths, serpents are associated with life force and creation. Could it be that ancient cultures intuitively understood something about DNA long before modern science? And does this mean the serpent in Eden represented the unlocking of human potential? Many humans have an instinctive fear of snakes, likely due to evolutionary survival mechanisms. But could this fear have been reinforced by religious teachings? What if the real fall was the conditioning of humans to fear knowledge and transformation rather than embrace them? In the book of Job, Satan appears as a challenger, not a deceiver. He questions Job's faith and forces him to seek deeper understanding. If we apply this same logic to the Eden story, could the serpent have been playing a similar role, pushing humanity to question, learn, and grow? Some ancient astronaut theorists suggest that the serpent in Eden might symbolize extraterrestrial beings who gave early humans advanced knowledge. Many ancient cultures depict gods and celestial beings as serpentine or reptilian. Could the forbidden fruit represent advanced teachings humanity wasn't ready for? In the Gospel of Thomas, a banned Christian text, Jesus says, "The kingdom of God is inside you, and all around you." This aligns with the idea that enlightenment is something humans must seek for themselves, similar to what the serpent encouraged in Eden. If the apple wasn't the actual forbidden fruit, why did later Christian tradition choose it? In Latin, the word malus means both apple and evil. This linguistic connection may have influenced the choice, reinforcing the idea that the fall was about sin rather than knowledge. After Adam and Eve were expelled, God placed cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the entrance. But why would God need guards unless there was something humans weren't supposed to reclaim? Could the real secret of Eden be that humanity was meant to return once it was truly ready? The rod of Asclepius, a staff with a coiled serpent, is still used in medical symbolism today. Even the Bible associates serpents with healing, as seen in Moses' bronze serpent. If serpents were seen as healers, why was the one in Eden painted as a villain? Could it be that it was trying to heal humanity from spiritual blindness? The serpent told Eve that eating the fruit would make her like the gods, knowing good and evil. After she ate, God confirmed this by saying, "Behold, man has become like one of us." If the serpent told the truth, then was the deception really on God's side? And if so, what does that mean for the entire foundation of the story? If we accept the possibility that the serpent wasn't evil, the entire Eden narrative changes. It becomes a story about awakening rather than disobedience, about seeking truth rather than blindly following authority. So, what do you believe? Is it time to reconsider the serpent side of the story? Many myths and legends across cultures warn against seeking forbidden knowledge or power. From the Tower of Babel to Icarus flying too close to the sun, humanity is often punished for reaching beyond its limits. Could the serpent in Eden represent an invitation to wield divine power, one that the gods, or God, feared humans would misuse? If so, was the punishment about protecting humanity, or maintaining control? One of the biggest philosophical questions in the Garden of Eden story is whether Adam and Eve truly had free will before eating the fruit. If they did, why didn't they question their reality before? If they didn't, was the serpent actually granting them free will by opening their minds? This raises another question: was humanity meant to live in blind obedience, or was this moment part of a divine plan for self-awareness? Some Gnostic texts suggest that Jesus taught secret wisdom to his closest followers, wisdom that was hidden from the masses. If knowledge was dangerous in Eden, why did Jesus later say, "The truth will set you free"? Could the serpent and Christ have been messengers of the same ultimate truth, one that organized religion sought to suppress? Biblical texts have been translated and reinterpreted countless times over thousands of years. Some scholars argue that key words describing the serpent may have been altered to paint it as more villainous than originally intended. If early translations saw the serpent as wise rather than evil, then was its reputation tarnished over time to fit a particular narrative? In ancient Mesopotamian and Canaanite traditions, the gods ruled in councils rather than as a single deity. Some believe that when Genesis says, "Let us make man in our image," it refers to this divine assembly. If this is true, then when God says that man has become like one of us, he may have been speaking to other divine beings. Was the serpent revealing secrets that only the gods were meant to know? The serpent is often linked to Lucifer, whose name means light-bringer. In many traditions, Lucifer is seen not as an enemy, but as a bringer of enlightenment, similar to Prometheus stealing fire for humanity. Could the serpent's true crime have been bringing divine wisdom to those who were meant to remain in ignorance? Many cultures speak of a lost paradise, a time when humanity lived in harmony with the gods. In Greek mythology, the Golden Age was a time of peace and immortality, but humans were later punished for their ambition. Could Eden be a version of this myth, rewritten to frame the fall as a moral failure rather than a necessary step in human evolution?
Welcome to Blessovia Science TV, where we take you on an exhilarating journey through the cosmos and unravel the mysteries of science. We are excited to offer you the opportunity to become a valued member of our ever-growing community of cosmic enthusiasts and knowledge seekers. Exclusive access to cosmic content. As a member of Blessovia Science TV, you will gain exclusive access to a treasure trove of cosmic content, including documentaries, interviews with leading scientists, space missions updates, and awe-inspiring visualizations of the universe, live Q, and sessions with experts. Your membership will grant you the chance to participate in live Q and sessions with renowned scientists, astronomers, and space explorers. Get your burning questions answered by those who push the boundaries of human knowledge. Embark on a journey that spans the cosmos and join us in unraveling the secrets of the universe. Become a Blessovia Science TV member today, and together we will reach for the stars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to leave your comment.